So we in a great position. Then we can't forget CJ and Ed Reed Blankenship, and also
Yeah, that's what we
Sidney
call him over here,
Brown.
man. Ed Reed Blankenship, man.
Ed
Hey,
Reed Blankenship.
hey, why are we talking about it, man? A lot of people be trying to talk junk about. I don't know what kind of film y'all watching, man. Blankenship, that dude,
He
man.
a dog. He
And
been a
last year was
dog.
only he a dog, man. And last year was only his second year. Um, well, his first year starting, but his second
Yeah.
year in the league, man. I think that dude this season. Now, if I'm wrong, I'll come back and say I'm wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Of
This
course.
season. This season, man, hey, wait, watch what y'all get out of that boy this season. Welcome to the Down South Philly Show, and I am the Down South Philly host, Dom, and we are also here with our other host.
It's your boy DP in the house, ready to talk some Philly football.
Yeah, man. Look, we going into our second episode, man.
Mm-hmm.
How you feel? How you feel so far, man? How you? And let me
Hey
say this
man.
too, man. Everybody watching, this ain't gonna be your usual show, your usual podcast, man. We just on here shooting the breeze, man. I don't know if you can say shooting the shit on YouTube, but we shooting the shit.
Basically, I mean, it's just real laid back. We kind of talked about it in the first episode. Just you know, not really being in Philly. Being one of those fans that's living elsewhere down south for both of us, and talking Philly football, but real laid back. We give you a different perspective on what you used to, and you gonna rock with it.
Yeah, man. Go back and check that first episode out. We talked about our thoughts on last season. We also talked about how the channel came about, how we became Philadelphia Eagles fans, man. Just go back. We touched on a lot in that channel, man. I mean on that episode. Um so yeah, for this episode, man, we're gonna go ahead and get into the off season. How we felt about the off season. What was our thoughts going into the off season as far as maybe players we needed to get rid of, cut, um, the draft, what we wanted to do in the draft, and things of that nature, man. So let's go ahead and get started. How did you feel? Season over. How did you feel about the players and the coaches? Like, what did you think we needed to do?
Well, honestly, I felt like really we needed to clean house. Wanted to keep Nick around, obviously, but didn't want him to have any real say on the offensive or defensive side of the ball. I wanted him to like really just focus on being a head coach, which meant that we needed some veteran offensive and defensive coordinators. So that's where I felt like we had to start. And then once we got the offensive and defensive coordinators, then we know like what kind of players we need to add to fit their scheme. So, not much that I felt like we needed to change on the offensive side of the ball. Even though we was looking how we was looking, it wasn't a lack of talent on the offensive side of the ball. Versus on the defensive side of the ball, it was a lack of talent and everything. Like we talked about on the previous episode, everything went wrong, but I felt like our defense needed more care. So obviously with the lack of competent linebacker play, and the defensive coordinator kind of being inexperienced on top of not being very good, all that, I was looking for like I said, a veteran defensive coordinator. Maybe add a cornerback or two out the draft. Definitely get some linebackers, whether in free agency or via draft. Really was hoping, actually, as far as linebackers was concerned, I was really hoping that we get a veteran guy in there, especially at the mic, because we saw last year what the lack of a good linebacker could do for you. And not only did we needed about two vets because we needed, linebacker depth on top. We didn't have no good linebackers in house at the
Nah.
end of the season. So, we needed to do some work there. Obviously, at the time, we still was down a safety as far as like a good vet at safety. So we really needed to bolster the back end and get some linebackers. So I would say those were the two things that I was looking forward to us adding if we wanted to make a run this year. What about you?
Um, I pretty much, pretty much you hit me saying a lot of things that you just said because I always feel like Nick Sirianni is a young coach, a young head coach. So what comes with anything is growing pains, learning experience. Yeah, we did go to a Super Bowl, but I think that kind of like tricked a lot of people, thinking that he was gonna be that the whole time. Like even that year, I kind of noticed like because if you look at Nick Sirianni's year before, if you remember, they were saying that he kind of turned the when after that bye week, he turned the reins over to Shane to, to start calling the plays. Need to get some water. He kind of turned it over to Shane to start getting some plays, to start calling the plays. And that's when we kind of took off. And I kind of feel like that was the when Nick kind of like took a back seat. All right, I'm gonna let Shane call the offense, and he let my man do his thing on the defensive side. And he was just being a head coach. And I think going into that next season, they already had a year under their belt together. So he was just being a head coach. They had already established, the offense the season before. Jalen Hurts had time in the offense, and Nick got to be the head coach. So going into the last season, when we got the new coordinators, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, I don't know, man. I knew Nick was going. I knew his hands was going to be all over that. And you could tell by the plays we was calling. Look at all them slants and comeback routes and stuff right there at the line. That's the same type of stuff he was calling before when his first year being a head coach. So it wasn't like we were running. Brian, what was the offensive coordinator? Brian Johnson.
Yeah,
Um, it
his
wasn't like
scheme.
we were caught. Yeah, it wasn't like it was his offense. It was still that same offense from the year before, and a lot of what Nick likes to do. So now
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to get new coordinators. Like you said, I want to get a veteran coordinator on both sides of the ball, so Nick can just be the head coach. He ain't gotta be in the offensive room putting his hands all over there. He ain't gotta be in the deep. He can go where he need it, or he can go just oversee stuff, see what's going on. Just be a head coach in general. Um, so I was a big fan of doing that. As far as like the players, I agree with what you said on the linebackers, man. I was like, man, we gotta. I said this last episode, man. T.J. Edwards, man, I think he was highly underrated. A lot of people didn't see what he was. I was so mad when he left. I was mad when Kaiser White left. Um, so in my mind, I didn't I didn't know what kind of contract he had, but I was like, man, we can go get Kaiser White in the off season, man. I just love that dude, man. I love his
Dog.
mentality. I love the way he played. Yeah, he's just a straight up dog. Even if you look at go back and look at them Cardinals game from last year, man, he was all over the field, man. Um, but yeah, I want to get some veteran linebackers in there. Like you said, two, at least two. And I'm also one thing about me, I'm a huge fan of young guys having somebody to learn from and play behind.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people like, hey man, throw the young guys out there. I'm a fan of throwing the young guys out there too, but when it's called for, if you can get a good vet in front of them for at least a year or two, or just even in the room with them, that they can kind of learn from. I'm a huge fan of that, man. At every position, quarterback. I love teams like Green Bay that have like they draft their quarterbacks early. They get to sit behind the vet for a few years.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big fan of the old way of doing things when it comes to quarterbacks. Everybody drafted guys a year too early. Let them sit behind the vet, man. Let them learn from the vet. Let them learn the game, the culture, how to be a pro. So uh, same thing with the secondary. A lot of people was down on Bradbury. I know we're gonna get into that too. A lot of people was down on Bradbury. Um, it's hard for me to judge. It was hard for me to judge the defense because I feel like the coaching was so bad that the coaching was
Everything was
so bad.
bad.
We had so many injuries. Yeah, the coaching was bad. And we had so many injuries. It was like hard to like judge people because it's like
Mm-hmm.
nobody playing their best. So it's like hard to say Bradbury fell off. Did he fall off, or was it? You know, saying everything around him fell off. So it made him look the way that it made it. Because even Slade looked like he had fell off a little bit. We don't know if he fell off or not. Because everybody, I feel honestly, a lot of and I ain't gonna say a lot of people, but some people was down on Blankenship. I feel like he was the bright spot in the defense. To
Mm-hmm.
me, he was the secondary anyway. He was like the brightest spot, the only one really getting interceptions, the only one making plays. He gonna come up and make a tackle. Now every now and then he might miss a tackle or somebody break a tackle, but for the most part, he all over the field, man. If I'm not mistaken, he led the team in tackles too. So um, I love Blankenship. So I just wanted to get another veteran on the other side of him. Um, a veteran linebacker or two, corner. I definitely wanted to. I want to get some young corners in there and let them learn behind Bradbury and Slay. Now, if they mess around and came in and win one of the positions or something like that, if they won the position, they earned it. But if you
Mm-hmm.
come in and you can't beat out Bradbury for the position, I don't care if you was drafted in the first round or not. Put the best man on the field. Um, so I definitely I wanted to either well, yeah, I wanted to draft. I didn't really want to grab a corner in free agency because we kind of always do that. I wanted to get some young guys in here in the draft and let them learn behind the vets. I wanted to draft a linebacker. I wanted to pick up a vet linebacker, and I wanted to draft a young good linebacker to get him in there behind the vets and to be in that room with Dean, be in the room with whatever vet we was gonna pick up. And
Mm-hmm.
as far as like the offense, I feel like the offense was good. We just once we got to get the right coordinator, I was like, we'll be okay. We keep the same guys. Get a good third wide receiver in there. We always playing around with that third wide receiver spot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what they looking for in that third wide receiver spot. To me, in back-to-back years, we kind of picked up the same type of guy and had him in the same type of role.
Mm-hmm.
But I was thinking, man, if we can get somebody in there who is like a true like slot guy and that's gonna carve something up, I want somebody like that. It seemed like we always get somebody who is decent and then they probably like real good at blocking, or at least that's what we use them for. But man, we get somebody in that slot is gonna open it up for everybody else. But
I feel like that might have been a good. That was a good reason why. Another good reason why 2022 was so good, just because we had Quez. That might have arguably been his best season with us. Was
yeah,
that 2022 season, and then we had Zach though. Zach was making like some clutch, dirty work type plays that
man, yeah, I love
kind
that
of
dude.
that 3-4 combination that we had with them two was good. Like last year,
Yeah,
Oz gave us some good work, but
we didn't really use him enough.
no, we didn't use them enough. But I think it was the fact that Quez. I don't know if it was like I said last year was an anomaly because everything was just
Yeah,
kind of
man,
bad. So
it's
it was
kind of
kind of
hard to
hard.
judge that season.
Yeah, it was kind of hard to judge the season, but just based off of what was put on tape, Quez really didn't really produce. Now you can blame that on multiple things, but from Oz's standpoint, Oz stood out on tape more,
Yeah,
making the
yeah,
dirty plays, even catching them clutch touchdowns. I think he at least had two of them where
yeah.
he just made big plays last year, and
Yeah, one in that Bucks game.
the
Yeah,
Bucks
one in that
game,
Bills game.
Bills, the block that comes to mind against Washington that sprung AJ.
Yep. I
Um,
forgot he ran down the field and yeah,
yeah, so him and Smitty.
you can't coach that. I mean,
Nah, you
you
can't
can't
coach
really
that.
teach
That's
that,
effort.
man.
That's effort.
Yeah, that's
So I
effort,
appreciate
man. You
I
can't really teach
appreciated the
that.
effort that he put in them, the kind of guys that
Yeah.
you need on the team to succeed. Because I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's the difference
Yeah.
between a big gain and a touchdown. And we know that just
Yeah.
because you get to the red zone, that don't mean you gonna score.
I mean, you gotta
So,
score. Yeah, you got to score. You got to score. Get in there while they're getting good.
hmm And then your other point, like we share that as far as like let the young guys grow, man. I'm all for putting in a young guy who ready, but very very rarely is a young guy gonna be ready coming out of high school. I mean out of college. So I like for them to sit behind a vet. You know, Aaron Don Aaron Donald is probably one of the big dudes that come to mind where, from day one he was able to come in and be a dog. But if you not
Right,
that caliber of player, which most people aren't,
right,
you need
right.
to at least sit for a year, even if it's not necessarily the whole year. But you
The
need
whole
to
year. Yeah.
initially sit and learn. Once you get your feet up under you, or maybe an injury come about, then it's a different story. But
Right.
I feel like not we. I feel like the NFL just throw a lot of players in the fire, and that
Right.
end up messing up their career if they don't.
Hmm.
If things don't go the right way, that could mess up your career. So
Right.
I'm always gonna be for letting the young guys learn a little bit, and then grow into it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think people try to put players in this one shoe fits all. You can't throw every player out there just because you
Nah,
saw this one guy go out there. Because even like with Jordan Love, man, if Jordan Love, the year he got drafted, if he had have been a starting quarterback for Green Bay, I'm almost certain he probably wouldn't be playing in Green Bay right now. He probably would have got
nah,
traded this past off season.
probably.
Or at least he would have been. They would have drafted somebody else, and he would have been on the bench like a backup or something. They'd have
Hmm.
picked up his fifth year option or something like that. Did they get him in the first round?
They got
They
him
might have
like
got
at
him
the
in the
end.
second.
They got him. No, they got him at the first, but they got him like we did
Okay, okay.
old boy from Georgia, Nolan, like like
Yeah,
right
yeah, yeah,
there at the
okay. Some
end.
question like that. Yeah, I knew it was
So
somewhere around in there,
so
but
technically he a first round draft pick, but like right at the end.
right. So I'm a like you said, we both fans of that. But like, hey, if like I said, it's certain even like with the if you go back and look at Reed Blankenship, remember
Hmm.
he got in when CJ
CJ got hurt,
went down. Yeah, he got went down in that Green Bay game, and then
picked
he
off
came in
Rodgers,
first play. I think picked him off, but and then after that, he kind of was just he was balling.
balling.
And a lot of people was like, yeah, a lot of people was like, yeah, man, see, you gotta throw the young guys in there. But no, that time that he sat on the bench leading
We
up
didn't have
into
no
that week
choice.
is what helped him prepare.
Hmm.
Yeah, people don't understand. There was preparation. Like he got to learn the system because once you go through training camp and the season start, them players, especially young guy, they ain't pick the playbook up like that yet. So he got time without any stress on his shoulders of starting
Hmm.
to learn the playbook, watch film after previous games, learn, get those mental reps, and then he got to apply it in the game. So a lot of times people think of somebody get hurt later in the season, the young guy go in there that he should have been starting the whole season. You might have
Right.
not got that same young guy had he been starting earlier.
Hmm.
But just to get back on topic, what we was talking about, um, like I said, I felt like on the offensive side of the ball, I didn't want to change too much. Probably grab a slot receiver. I didn't. A lot of people was you gonna always get this, especially in Philly. But a lot of people was like, I guess, down on Hurts, saying he should have did this, he should have did that. I didn't have a problem with Hurts. He was a little injured here and there. You could tell he was playing a little bit different. I think we also was calling the offense a little bit different as well.
Hmm.
Um, from the previous year, but I'm still high on Hurts. I don't have anything negative to really say about Hurts. The way we was calling the plays, we didn't really have any hot routes or anything like that to help the man out when they're blitzing us away. It's like they teams was blitzing us all season doing the same thing, and it's like we never came up with an answer for it. It's like we
Mm-mm.
just kept just doing the same
It
thing,
was
which is
predictable.
crazy. Yeah, it
We
was
got
so
too
predictable.
predictable.
So I think he gonna surprise a lot of people this season. He won't surprise me because I already see it in him. I don't really get down on players after like one bad season. I mean, it's gonna happen.
Hmm.
Like I was saying, even about the Bradbury situation. Nah, he got to show me. Just like when the players have a good season, we be like, man, they got to show us again. Like they got to have another good season. The same thing with a
Hmm.
bad season. If you was a good player, you have one bad season. Now, if you have two in a row, okay, it might be coming to the end of your
You
time.
don't
But if you
notice.
have one bad season, sometimes you got to put stuff into perspective, because even if you remember with Bradbury coming off the year that we got him, he had a bad season the year before, and
With
everybody
the
was like, "Oh,
Giants.
y'all got." Yeah, they was like, "Oh, y'all getting Bradbury. Look at the season that he had." No, that man was playing on the Giants.
Yeah,
But
that's
he
the
come over
same.
here
That's really, if you think about it, it's the same situation.
yeah. So once you get around some dogs, and not only you get around some dogs, but you got you a good defensive coordinator, it
Mm-hmm.
can make you look like a totally different player. So if Bradbury end up starting again, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be mad at it. Now, if he get out there and he looking like trash, man, we got some people that can get in there and replace him. So we got a lot of depth. So I'm not really worried about it.
Right.
Either way, I think we got the guys that's going to be able to find the right talent on the field. But let me get into this. How did you feel when we signed? Was it any coordinators out there that you had your eye on either side of the ball?
Well, obviously, I did. I was a fan of Vic. Let me see. The offensive coordinators. I wouldn't have been mad about Bieniemy coming in. It was one more. I think what you call it was the Dan Quinn was available, but I know that he was gonna want to be a head coach. But I wouldn't
Right,
I wouldn't have been mad if he came for the DC position. Just some key
man.
players, some key coordinators like that. The main thing, like we said already, the main thing was that it was a coordinator that was a vet, that could handle his side of the ball without needing Nick's input like that.
Yeah, I think for me, I didn't for the offensive side of the ball, I didn't really I don't think I really had my eye on any I can't fully remember, but I don't think I really had my eye on anybody for the offensive side of the ball. I just wanted it to be a veteran
Mm-hmm.
play caller, somebody who can call their own plays, got their own proven system.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and there was they know how to get the ball to the running back. What I want you to do is run the ball, be able to get the ball to the running back, and cause them hot routes. Man, come
Yep.
on, save your quarterback, man.
Mm-hmm.
Help your quarterback out. That's the only thing I really kind of cared about, and then I didn't necessarily really have an opinion on that. Now, if they would have hired somebody I didn't like, I would have been like, "Hey, I don't like that hire." But as far as the defensive side of the ball, I had my eye on one person. Now, um, I'm not gonna say I felt like we should 100% sign this person, but I wanted them to at least take a look at him. But the Dallas, their defensive back coach.
Oh yeah,
Um,
was that Al Harris?
yeah, that's his name, Al
Yeah,
Harris.
Al Harris.
I
Yeah.
wanted him. I wanted him to at least get a look. I wanted at
Mm-hmm.
least them take a look at him, because I was like, man, we can't get Dan Quinn, man. Get Al Harris. And we both know that man was not going. Dan Quinn was not going to leave a coordinator position to go to
Nah,
another coordinator position, especially not in
same division.
the same division. But I did want Al Harris. That's probably the only person I really had my eye on. I was like, man, I hope we grab Al Harris. But he's not a vet, so I'm not mad. I'm not mad with the because I feel like if we did get him, he wouldn't have been able to run the defense exactly how he wanted to. I feel like Nick and a lot of the front office still would have had a lot of input on that. So I'm glad we got Vic, because he a vet, and he gonna let the front office know and Nick know that they not running the show. Um, that he got that or whatever, and he's proven, so they're gonna let him do what he do. At least I think they will. Same thing with Kellen Moore. How did you feel when we finally hired Kellen Moore and Vic
Well, I
Fangio?
loved it. I loved it. First thing, the ball was just set low on that one. Just how things played out on both sides of the ball. Really, at the end of the day, no matter who was hired on either side of the ball, we were just looking for competent coordinators on both sides of the ball. So with Kellen Moore coming in, he a vet. He's he's been in a few systems. He's run a few systems. He's had, at least two quarterbacks that we know of that he's worked with outside of Hurts. So I love the hire. But like I said, the bar was just set so low that I just felt like if we'd have had any competent coordinator last year, we'd have been a little better off than we ended up being. But the fact that we didn't have any competent coordinators in the building, that made a bad situation worse. So, with Kellen Moore, I've seen quarterbacks put up good numbers in his system. Dak comes to mind, and you already know how we feel about Dak. He good, but I don't feel like he better than Hurts. He got more experience, but
Right.
I feel like Hurts should be able to have a decent season in the Kellen Moore system.
Yeah. I would say the same. I was happy about the Vic signing because I knew he had been in the building the year previous when we went to the Super Bowl, so I knew they
Mm-hmm.
had a relationship with him already, and he was supposed to be the defensive coordinator last year. That's who they wanted, but the whole situation happened.
With JG
Um, yeah, with
Gannon.
Gannon leaving last minute and things like that. That whole situation, we know what happened there, whatever. But Vic would have been the coordinator. Also, as far as the offensive side of the ball, Kellen Moore. At first, I didn't really know how to feel about the Kellen Moore signing because I'm like, I don't know. Anybody coming from Dallas, where as a player or a coach. Now he didn't come directly from Dallas, but I'm like, I don't know. But then the more I was like starting to like study him and his offense and stuff, I was like, okay, yeah. And then we played him so many times. We know what he capable of. So I
Right.
kind of I kind of grew to love the Kellen Moore signing. At first, I didn't really have an opinion on it, but I was glad that he was a veteran coordinator. So now, hey, I'm loving that Kellen Moore signing. Like I done looked my guy up. I done seen, we done picked up some players. I feel like I'm be able to shine in be
In
able
the
to shine
system.
in his offense. But yeah, so I'm happy with both of the coordinator signings. A lot of people trying to say that Hurts won't be able to pick up the offense, but man, they gonna figure it out. Give them a few weeks. You got the off season. Give them a few weeks going into the year. Now this is what I'm gonna love. Now we mess around, have a great season. I ain't gonna put nothing on us. I ain't gonna put the Super Bowl on us, but we go ahead and have a great season, which I think Hurts can get Kellen Moore further than he done been with his last two places he done been,
Mm-hmm.
further than he done went with Dak. He can get him to an NFC championship minimum. He can
Mm-hmm.
get Kellen Moore at minimum. Um, and then to be able to do that and then go into another season with Kellen Moore, because I don't really think Kellen Moore or Vic Fangio are looking for a head coaching job. So if we able to keep them guys in the building, man, it can get nasty the next few years. We can keep both of them as coordinators,
Well,
man, and they
you
get
know how
time
that
under
go
their
though.
belt.
You know how that
Yeah,
go. We
yeah.
do too well. Kellen is gone. Like
Gone. He out of
if it's
there,
a
huh?
Super Bowl season, Kellen gone.
He gone. Head coach.
I don't think Vic
Nah, he ain't
probably will
going
do
nowhere.
it, but
Yeah,
Kellen
he ain't
gone.
going nowhere. Yeah, I
Kellen
think he
gone.
done being
Somebody
a
gone
head coach.
off. Kellen gone,
It's
and
gonna be too good to be true. He gonna have to go do it, huh?
yeah.
Well, he might be
I
out of
wouldn't
here
blame
then,
him.
because I think Hurts about to take him to the promised land.
Turn it up.
But but ideal for me is we can at least get 2-3 years of Kellen Moore. If we can get 2-3 years, we mess around and go to an NFC Championship or a Super Bowl, and then he just like, hey man, let me run it back. See, can I get enough? Now this is a situation that I like to be in. Now we getting a little bit off topic, but this is a situation that I like to be in. I like to be in a position that Kansas City in right now. We go ahead and grab two of them things, and then we trying to see if we can three-peat.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be ideal for me.
That would be ideal. But
And
with
Kellen
this
Moore
league,
just come on back and run that thing for a third
with this
time, man.
Here's the thing though. Like, all right, we mess around. Some odd reason he turned down the head coach, because it ain't gonna be because it ain't gonna be one offered to him. He turned down the head coaching position. We mess around and at least get to like the NFC Championship that following year. He definitely
Right.
gone there. So either
No,
way,
yeah. Either way,
if we manage to get him 2 years, that's great. That's what I'm just looking for, 2 years, because if you think about
yeah, too.
Hurts ain't never had the
The
same
same
coordinator
coordinator.
for
Yeah,
longer
that's
than
that's
two
what I'm saying.
years.
That's another thing I kind of hate too, man. My guy, he keep having to switch coordinators, man.
But
Um,
you look at the 22 season, that was the only season to date that he had the same coordinator for 2 seasons.
coordinator,
So that made, it proved to make the difference. Just, to be able to go into a season and not have to learn a whole new playbook, that's
yeah.
got to be easier. I mean,
Right,
being an NFL quarterback is hard. We know that.
right,
They get paid the
right,
big bucks, but it's got to be easier when you don't have to like do, excuse me, day one installs.
right, right. Yeah, I agree. So, yeah, so I was happy with the signing of the coordinators. Now, how did you feel about I don't know what was like now I do like I like a lot of the just to touch on this briefly. I do like a lot of the guys that we signed as well, like the other coaches, like the position coaches.
Mm-hmm.
I had looked into a lot of those guys after we signed them because, of course, I don't really know a lot of position coaches. So once we signed them, I kind of looked them up and looked into them. I like them, man. I really like. I like. Uh, I think he the defensive line coach. I think
Clint
Hurst or
Hurts.
something.
Clint Hurts.
Man,
Yeah,
I,
that's what I was gonna touch on too. That's the only position that I really cared about
yeah,
because of what we lost it in Fletch. And
yeah,
just having the young guys, we definitely needed basically, I don't know if he can be the Stoutland of the defensive line, but we needed
right.
somebody at least close.
Yeah, and they know each other too.
Yeah. I didn't know that
Yeah,
until like listening to interviews and
his
stuff
interview.
from him talk,
Yeah,
but I love that too. That's another thing. It's kind of like
mm-hmm.
they familiar with each other. They can help
Start
each other
building
grow.
that
So
chemistry.
that's
Iron
probably
sharp iron.
outside of the coordinators. That's probably my favorite hire.
Yeah, yeah, mine too.
Mm.
But yeah, I like a lot of the other guys though. I listened to their interviews and things like that. I'm liking what I'm hearing. I'm liking some of their resumes, where they've been, who they um experience that they got and stuff like that. So I think it can all come together.
Mm.
So going into some of the off-season moves, man, let's go ahead and we got to touch on one of the biggest moves that was made. Saquon Barkley. How did you feel? First off, how did you feel letting go of what's my guy name?
Swift.
The other running Swift. Yeah, how did you feel letting
I
go
hated it.
of Swift?
I hated it. I really hated it because I don't think Swift did anything to not get a contract. Obviously, he wasn't gonna cost as much as Saquon, and he younger. He proved that the injury prone thing was a myth, which he had proven that before, but like
Right,
solidified the fact that
right,
injuries wasn't really an issue.
right.
Um, I hated losing Swift, especially
Me too.
for the amount of money that he ended up going to the Bears
Mm-hmm.
for. It was just like we had it. So I mean, it just came down to us not wanting him at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Am I mad that we got Saquon? Absolutely not, because I think he a hell of a talent. I mean, it is what it is. He a dog. The haters gonna hate and say how he injury prone and not take into account that he's just been in a bad system his whole career, playing with Daniel Jones as his quarterback. It's just been a bad.
With a
He's had
makeshift offensive
a
line.
makeshift, if you can even call him that. I just call him just a bad offensive line. But it's just a lot of factors, and even with all of that going in, he still was able to put up numbers. So I'm optimistic about what he can do behind a competent offensive line like we have, and continue to have every year. Us losing Kelsey, of course, that's a big blow, but what people fail to realize is that we had his successor in-house. Not only learning behind him, but getting a chance to start at guard and be on the field and see exactly how he handles situations
Yeah.
in games. That's something that
Mm-hmm.
most people don't get, because I mean, you may get a chance to learn from a vet, but to actually be on the field right beside him to see how he
Right.
handles situations and run the offense, I think
Yep.
that's being a little underplayed by people who maybe they just don't realize. I think a lot
Right.
of people just talking without really realizing the situation. We're not saying that the loss of Kelsey won't be felt. We're just saying that the guy behind him ain't a slouch either.
Right. Yeah. I agree.
But
Um.
as far as Saquon, oh my bad. Just to,
Now
to
go ahead.
wrap
Go
that
ahead.
up,
Go ahead and stick.
just to wrap up my point. Saquon, yes, I love the signing of Saquon, considering the fact that we at that point we had to sign somebody. So he was the best available. We locked
Yeah.
him up. Let's see what he do.
Yeah. When we let Swift go, man, I was like, what?
Hmm.
And then, like you said, for the amount of money that he went and signed for in Chicago, it was like, man, we could have gave him that. And he was, man, Swift, man. Have you, I remember watching one of the clips of Smitty, and he was like, man, he was supposed to be blocking. He was like, bro, I wasn't even blocking. I was watching him run. Like, that's how exciting of a runner Swift is, man. Um, but I guess you can get the next best thing when you get Saquon. So you can't really be mad at signing him. Like you said, a lot of people are gonna try to bring up the injuries and all that. I'm not too worried about it. Um, I think he's gonna be fine. He got an offensive line now. We're gonna throw the ball a lot as well. He never had two receivers taking the pressure off him like this, and a great offensive line. So
And the
I think
tight
it's
end.
all gonna come together. Tight end. Um, so I think it's gonna all come together. I told you the upside is the greatest show on turf. Hey, we could be that now, but right now it's baby steps, man. We just got to get in there and get rolling. See what we can get out of this season.
Hmm.
Like I said, we get another year on our belt of Kellen Moore with these same guys. It'll be too crazy, but um, the whole Swift thing. My only issue with it was I'm not mad at the Saquon signing, but my only issue at the time when it first kind of happened, my thoughts was we could have signed Swift, used that extra money, and put it into the defense. Like I wanted to we pretty much was solidified on offense. I wanted to
Hmm.
put as much resources into that defense as possible. If you need to save a couple dollars, if you need to save a couple dollars on keeping Swift instead of getting Saquon and getting you a vet, um, getting you two vet linebackers or two vet safeties, or however, like I'm saying, how much of money we could put into getting what we needed on defense, that's what I wanted to do. So at first I was like, man, we should have just signed Swift and say the extra money and put it into the defense. But just like anything equal, is probably it grew on me. And plus Saquon ain't really got to grow on you like that. We know what
Nah.
he is.
Hmm.
Um, it was just me at
Anybody
the time, and
anybody
I
would
didn't
have been
know.
happy to get
Yeah,
Saquon.
and at the time, I didn't know what other moves we were going to make on defenses
Right.
too. So at the time, it's like, man, come on, just put that money into the defense. But um, speaking on that, other moves we made, moving off of Saquon. Now let me bring this up while it's on my mind. A move we made last season was getting Isaiah Rodgers when he got suspended for the gambling thing. Now, when we first signed him, I kind of had looked him up. I was like, let me look him up. I was like, oh, he a return guy too. So I was like, oh, this gonna and my thoughts last year was, oh, we probably could put him in the slot. Um, uh, have him and Maddox or whatever battling out for the slot or something like that. And so that was what I was thinking, because I'm not really one to really talk about injuries like that, but if Maddox usually down, so if he down, I'm like, hey, we got Isaiah Rodgers right there, or he can start. Maddox be the backup order. That's what I was thinking last year, but now going into this season, they done had the camp and all that. Man, this guy they balling. He all over social media. Eagles this, Eagles that. He want to be here. He want to play for Philly. Um, Now he hasn't put any time on if we haven't had any games yet, but it's looking like a guy I might want to sign long term. And he also looking like, now I said I wasn't trying to get rid of Bradbury, but he looking like he could take that, hold the other side down. Him and Slay can hold them outside corner spots out. Now we're gonna touch on the draft in a minute, but we drafted the young guy, first round cornerback, that a lot of people were expecting to start just because he was a first round pick and the best cornerback in the draft. But like I said, I'm a huge fan of guys, regardless of where you got drafted. If you can't beat out somebody for a position, you shouldn't be playing just because you got drafted high. Now, if you can get in here and learn behind this guy, maybe Isaiah Rodgers win a spot. We have a good season. They move off of him and they put young guy in there next year. Hey, it is what it is. You didn't get to play use the first round draft pick. You didn't get to play your rookie season because the guy in front of you was better than you. Just like Kaiser White. A lot of people was calling. Now he wasn't a first round draft pick, but a lot of people was calling for Dean to start the year that we had Kaiser White. Man, if he can't beat Kaiser White out for the job, he shouldn't be playing. Um, so like we spoke on earlier, I'm a huge fan of, like, hey, if you can't win the position, regardless of where you get signed, you might have to ride a bench. One thing about fans though is, like, they don't give you a chance to have one bad game. Isaiah Rodgers or Bradbury go out there and have one bad game, they calling for the backup guy. Man, you got to give these guys time, man, and you got to allow them to have a bad game. But yeah, just touching on Isaiah Rodgers, man, I think he gonna be something here in Philly. I dang near want to sign him. Bradbury. Slay. He getting on up there too. He looking like he on his way out the door. We can mess around and have Isaiah Rodgers. What's the corner we saying that signed, the young guy? What's his name?
Quinn Mitchell or
Yeah, Quinn Mitchell.
Dijon?
Nah, Quinn. I'm gonna touch on Cooper DeJean too, but we can mess around and have outside Quinn Mitchell, Isaiah Rodgers, and then have maybe Cooper in the slot. I don't know if he's gonna win that role, but we mess around and have Cooper in the slot. Man, I think it could be a great secondary for the foreseeable future. Because if we can lock the defensive side up like we did the offense, because we didn't extend it. We're gonna touch on this too, but we didn't extend it to wide receivers and stuff like that too. But if we can, start trending that way on defense, where we know what we're gonna have, man, it could get crazy.
Man, I'm
How did you
excited
feel about
about.
Isaiah Rodgers though? How about grabbing
I'm
Isaiah?
excited about Isaiah Rodgers going into it. I can't say that I knew really anything about him, but I did.
Mm-hmm.
I looked up a little bit of tape, but because I knew he wouldn't play last year, I didn't
Right.
really like put too much thought into it. But going into this year, seeing he was definitely somebody we was gonna need to ball out this year, and then just seeing once he was in the building, just seeing how excited he was to just had the opportunity. Like, you could just tell that he grateful for the opportunity to be playing football
Mm-hmm.
again. And he one of
Mm-hmm.
them guys that it looked like he loved the game.
Mm-hmm.
Out there just showing and working. He gave us a lot of excitement, and then like he doubled it down by as soon as he got in camp. He just making plays. So
Right.
definitely a guy that I hope it could translate onto the field, because I wouldn't mind, like you said, locking him up long term. I feel like we're in a really good position secondary wise. This is probably the most loaded we've ever been in any given year with
Depth.
DBs and depth,
Mm-hmm.
because not only obviously we got Slay, still got Bradbury on the team, which I'm cool with. We got Isaiah Rodgers, which is another vet, Quinn Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. Can't forget the young guys from last year. We still got Eli Ricks on the roster. We still got
Mm-hmm.
Ringo, who's showing out in camp.
Yep.
Zach McPherson, he coming
Yep.
off of a injury, but
Injury. Yep.
he we in a position where we got Maddox signed back, so we in a great position. Then we can't forget CJ and Ed Reed Blankenship, and also
Yeah, that's what we
Sidney
call him over here,
Brown.
man. Ed Reed, Blankenship, man.
Ed Reed Blankenship.
Why are we talking about it, man? A lot of people be trying to talk junk about. I don't know what kind of film y'all watching, man. Blankenship, that dude,
He
man.
a dog. He
And
been a
last year was
dog.
only he a dog, man. And last year was only his second year Well, his first year starting, but his second
Yeah.
year in the league, man, I think that dude this season. Now, if I'm wrong, I'll come back and say I'm wrong.
Yeah, yeah, of
This
course.
season, this season, man, hey, wait, watch what y'all get out of that boy this season because he got CJ on the other side of him, gonna
Mm-hmm.
be holding it down. He ain't really got to worry about too much. He can just play. Man, I'm
Yeah,
trying to tell y'all, Blankenship.
yeah.
However y'all feeling about Blankenship right now, if you down on him, hey, I don't want to see y'all.
Just give it
Matter of
some
fact,
time.
I was about to say I don't want to see y'all coming back, trying to act like y'all being on him. But look, man, just show the man some love when he go out there and
Man.
ball out, because I know that's what he gonna do. He gonna ball out, and the man be laying his body on the line. Look at man, he be laying his
Yeah.
body on the line, man.
That's what when you think about safeties, he one of them dogs. You know who he remind me of? He remind me of Smith out of the Vikings. That same kind of like dog that Smith from the
Yeah,
Vikings
yeah.
had. He give you all of that. Just a bad man. So yeah, we're gonna put. It's sad that we got to, but yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and put it on tape. This this season right here, breakout season for Ed Reed Blankenship,
Oh,
number
okay.
number
Hey,
32. Go ahead,
hey,
it's stamped.
it's stamped. Hey, we cutting this clip. This going on
Hmm.
Twitter. But
Yes,
hey, I
sir.
love Blankenship, man. I love Blankenship. Let me touch on this. Devon White, the Devon White. I think the Devon White
Whew.
signing, I think that's the most underrated signing because a lot of people, once again, they try to go off your last season. And it's
Hmm.
Philly. I feel like anything Philly, anybody come to Philly, they try to downplay it. I don't care if
Hmm.
we got Pat Mahomes, they gonna be like, yeah, he washed up now.
Hmm.
Coming off a Super Bowl win, if we got Pat Mahomes, they're like, yeah, he washed up.
Now
The only
they'll
reason
just
why
say
y'all
they'll just say
Kansas
that
City
he
got
ain't
rid
got
of him for
Andy.
a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, he ain't gonna do the same thing. He ain't got Andy. Blah
Uh-huh.
blah blah. Man, look, Devin White signing. Man, long as this dude stay healthy, he is going to ball out. I don't care what happened last year in Tampa Bay. Now he came out and said this, but before he even said it, I knew what was up. The man was trying to get a contract last season. He wasn't really giving it his all. I don't think he really wanted to play. He didn't really want to be there. Look, to prove his season with great players around him, man, that's an under watch. We're gonna go ahead and stamp this Devin White signing that y'all sleeping on too, that y'all keep
Hmm.
trying to say, well, he ain't gonna be this, he ain't gonna be that. Cause when we got the year that we got Bradbury, what they were saying, man, Bradbury, he ain't gonna be man, the man came
Hmm.
out and had an all pro season.
All pro.
All pro. Devin, I'm telling you right now, man, Devin White, this dude is going to be all over the field making plays. He's gonna look like the Devin White that y'all know him to be. I'm gonna go ahead and say that right now. I don't feel like that I'm saying anything that's like shocking.
Mm-mm.
I think I honestly think everybody else feel like that too. They just downplaying it. They just
They
like
trolling.
hoping that, yeah, they just hoping that it don't pan out. It's gonna pan out, man. I hate that. If you're a hater, I hate to tell you the Devin White signing. My only thing with that is just like the Isaiah Rodgers signing. Is I'm hoping we can sign this man for another. I don't want 1 year Devin White. That man gonna be out the
Mm-mm.
door. I feel like he gonna ball. This man gonna ball out so much. Somebody gonna offer him a contract somewhere. Just like my guy who left the Ravens. What's his name?
Patrick Quinn.
Quinn. Patrick Queen. Yeah. So I think we're gonna get. I hope we can sign Devin White, but I think we're gonna get 1 year Devin White because he gonna demand some. He gonna demand a check coming off that season, man. Let us mess around and make a run. Oh my god. Um, Devin White signing that. What? Let me see. I almost said that was my favorite signing, man. I'm a huge fan of. We never really have linebackers like that, man. And if we do, it seems like they be here for a year or something. We
That's
kind
it.
of. Then we had T.J. Everett, who was in house, but we let him go. I still don't know what was up with that.
That was very similar to the Swift move in that he didn't really call. Well, I mean, he got good money.
Right,
And I think ultimately that's what it was about. Obviously,
yeah,
that's what it was about. But
right,
it wasn't in the grand scheme of things. It wasn't. We
right,
saw what we definitely saw what missing him looked like, and we felt that.
yeah,
And
yeah,
for Devin White in particular, like we was on line, bro. You know we was on linebacker watch. Every linebacker that was available in the off season, we wanted Philly to sign them, and
Right.
it was
Yeah,
down
because
to the
I
ninth.
definitely want to Patrick Queen.
Yeah, it came down to the ninth hour. And we were just waiting by the phone, just like his agent, just waiting by
I
the
think
phone.
Devon White I think he's a really good fit for Philly though.
I do too.
Like his play style and his personality. I think he's gonna be and I think it's gonna be crazy having him and CJ on the field together. Like when they
Hmm.
start building that oh man, that's gonna be great. The
Hmm.
way they play and their personality, that's gonna be crazy. And then you mess around and have Isaiah Rodgers out there with them too.
Just a
Jalen
field of
Carter and them.
dogs,
Oh man, it's gonna
dogs. But what
straight
people don't realize is like
dogs on every level.
what people don't realize, like with the Devon White signing, like that's another one of them moves. Like with the coordinators, like the bar was so low last year, we didn't have nobody. We ended up signing Shaq Leonard like at the end of the season just to try to get some
Right.
competent linebacker play. So I say anything that Devin White can bring to the table is better than what we had last year consistently. Now in spurts, of course, Cunningham made some plays. Um,
Yeah.
like
I'll take him right now as a depth piece.
I still would take Cunningham, but like to be that every down guy, he wasn't that.
Yeah, nah, yeah.
Um, and Nick Morrow, he was both of them guys is really just like backup pieces.
Right, yeah.
I
Yeah,
would
they
still
great backups.
welcome. I would welcome both of them back from a depth standpoint, but as far as like having that guy, I feel like
Yeah.
Devin White is that guy, and he
Yeah, I
should
don't know
make
why
some
we
some
try to
special plays this year.
I don't know why we try to go cheap on the linebackers, man.
It bite
I
us
don't
every damn time.
every time, man. We don't know why
Every
we trying to
time.
skip on the linebackers, but like you said, I'll take them guys back, man. Right now I want Zach Cunningham, man. Bring him in the building, let him be a
Hmm.
depth piece. Now, another reason why I like the Devin White signing too is because of Nicobi Dean. I
Yeah.
think Nicobi Dean can learn a lot from this guy. And while we own Nicobi Dean, we could kind of touch on Nicobi Dean. Like I said, y'all, man, we just shooting the shit, man. We'll probably
Hmm.
be all over the place. But Nicobi Dean, um, a lot of people are down on the Kobe Dean. A lot of people is like he's injury prone. He's not that good because they feel like last year the games that he did play, they feel like he was getting exposed in coverage. It's hard for me to say because, like I said, it's hard to judge last season just because of the coaching of the players and all of that was bad. So it made everybody look bad. So I can't really just point out one player and be like, nah, because somebody was like, man, they was telling me y'all need to get rid of that Blankenship guy, whatever, a fan of another team. I'm like, what? I was like, what game was you watching? But even some Eagles fans saying that. But as far as Nicobe Dean. I just feel like okay, boom. When we first got him, he came in his rookie season. He had to play behind Kaiser White, who was a great vet, a really good vet. So
Hmm.
he couldn't win that role. He wasn't injured. He just couldn't play because he was playing behind a guy who was better than him. He was a rookie.
Hmm.
It's kind of gonna be hard to play behind, and Kaiser White is not that old, so it's gonna be kind of hard to come in and take a spot from a young vet. Um, so no, that was his situation that first season. Then it pretty much was the linebackers was his to have last year, and he got injured twice. Um, I don't really see a person. I'm not gonna necessarily call a person injury prone because they were hurt one season. And then like the time that he did get in, he was playing around. And a lot of these guys, not only was the coaching bad, but a lot of these guys were injured last year, on and off the
Hmm.
field, so they never got to build chemistry. Every when you do come back, the guy that you was playing with last time is not even out there no more. So I'm not down. I'm not down on the Kobe Dean. Give him if we go into camp and he can win the starting role. I'm not gonna be mad if he's on the field. Now, if he go into camp and somebody beat him out, okay, it is what it is. My motto is always put the best guy on the field. I don't care where you got
Hmm.
drafted. I don't care. I don't care how much you're getting paid. That's just me. We know the NFL don't necessarily work like that. They might throw a guy out there because he getting paid more because he got um drafted in a certain position. But as far as for me, I'm always gonna be a fan of put the best guy on the field. I don't care what you getting paid. I don't care where you got drafted. So Nicobi Dean. I'm still high on Nicobi Dean. He has a high IQ, fast. I think he can take a lot from Devon White game and put into his game. He can take a lot of knowledge from Devon White, and we'll see. We'll see how the season go. We'll see if he even starts. If he starts, I'm confident in him. I think we have the right coaches that are gonna put the best men on the field. So I'm not gonna like second guess that. But how you feel about Nicobe Dean?
Man, I think that people need to get off Kobe Dean nuts. That's what I think. I feel like he
This is
hadn't really
another
had.
clip for Twitter.
Yeah, go
Get
ahead
off
and
that
clip
man
this.
net.
Get off his nuts, cause he really hadn't had a chance to do anything. Like you said, when he first came in, not only was he young, he wasn't projected to be no day one starter.
Yeah,
Coming into it. So I mean, and then you couple that with the
right.
fact that we had two vets that basically came in and shut shit down from day one. So he got a
Man,
chance to learn from two championship linebackers.
man,
Two championship caliber linebackers. Um,
right.
and of course, he had to play the special teams role. And then that
Right.
next year, he kind of got hurt, so he didn't really have a chance to prove anything with that. But I can't say necessarily that I'm even high on the Kobe Dean. I just feel like he hadn't had no time to show us good or
Right.
bad, much of
Yeah, I agree.
anything. So,
I agree.
so it's just more so of I want to be fair to everybody
Right. Yeah.
that
Give
comes
him a
into
chance.
any, or yeah, just give him a chance
I
to
agree.
show you if he good or bad. Anybody who out on him just impatient, really, at the end of the day,
Hmm.
because he haven't really shown you anything that suggests that he was a bad pick. He hadn't shown us even. I've seen flashes. Of course, we've seen flashes of things that he can do, but it'll come with opportunity, and if he get a chance to get on the field, we'll hopefully get to see what he's doing. But I'm hearing good things. Obviously, we suspect that Devon White is going to lock down the middle, and the will might be old boy from the Saints, but we'll see. That's another vet.
Right.
If it happens that way, it doesn't necessarily mean that Nicobe Dean not a guy. It's just again playing behind people who are better than you. Ain't nothing wrong with that. This the NFL. We
Yeah.
talking about the best players in the world.
Right.
So even if you a backup, that don't mean you a scrub. That just we in the
Right.
NFL,
The
bro.
guy in front of you better than you.
They gonna put playmakers out there.
Yeah.
So
And, and
so
then like people be wanting to say he ain't starting.
yeah.
People want to get rid of him. Why he can't just
Hmm.
be a backup?
Right. We
Like
need depth.
I don't really get like what people be going at. They like if you got a solid backup too, because even like the whole the Maddox situation, a lot of people was like, well, Maddox can't win the starting job, which I don't know if I don't know if y'all watch Maddox when he's healthy. I don't think nobody's beating him out in that slot. I don't
Nah.
really care who it is.
Nah.
If he's healthy and it's up to the coaches to decide by what they showing, nobody's beating Maddox, and I don't. He got to get hurt to not win that starting job. Um, or maybe it's a situation where they think he gonna be hurt, and they be like, well, you know what, let's just move off of him, whatever. But I can't see us like signing him back, and if you're gonna let him compete for the starting, if you're gonna let him compete to start, you got to get a job to somebody else. He's not going to
Right.
lose that job. He knows
Nah.
the slot too well, and
Nah. Don't.
he's too athletic. He's too good. Nobody's, especially a lot of people was like, Cooper DeJean come in. Cooper DeJean is not beating Maddox out in the slot. I don't care
Mm-mm.
what kind of basketball highlights he got. Now I love Cooper DeJean, but he's not beating Maddox out for that slot job if they had to battle for it.
Mm-mm.
Now they may give it to him, but he's not just gonna straight up beat him out. Because you gotta think about Cooper DeJean got to come in, learn an NFL playbook. He never played in the NFL before. You gotta learn the playbook. You gotta learn your position. It's just too much new information for him. He not gonna be able to play as freely as Maddox. Now they both learning a new somewhat of a
Defense.
new
Yeah.
defense. Um because Vic Fangio still kind of run the scheme we've been running for the last 2 years. It's gonna be a little nuances here and there, but for the most part, he's he's learning the NFL and a playbook and all of this. Well, Maddox he really kind of just like learning a little bit of what a new defensive coordinator wanted to do is probably language and stuff like that. So I can't see none of them guys beating him out for the slot. Maybe Isaiah Rodgers, but I don't even think they really playing him in the slot like that. We haven't went to camp yet, so we don't know where they're gonna be putting anybody yet. To be honest, I know they had the little mini camp and stuff already, but that's not necessarily showing you where they gonna play players at just because they did that at mini camp. They probably just trying to see what was up, what they want to do for camp, and just getting guys some rep and conditioning and stuff. But if it come down to who winning that slot job is Maddox. But well, I don't even forget what we was talking about.
Was you talking about Coop or was we talking about Maddox?
I don't
I
know
think
what
we
we
was
was talking
talking. I
about.
think we was talking about Maddox, and just basically, just to reiterate your point, I feel the same way. Like as far as Maddox is concerned, not only like when fully healthy, he one of the best slot guys
Man.
that's in the whole league, and like he one of them guys that you feel. If he goes down, which he's been going down every year, you feel his absence right away just because not only can he cover in the slot, he's gonna tackle, he's gonna come down downhill rather. He's good in
Rarely
the
out of position.
blitzing. Yeah, rarely out of position. He a savvy vet. His biggest downfall is just that he just can't stay healthy.
Yep.
That damn toe. He need to cut that. He need to cut that damn toe off.
Pull a
But
Deion Sanders, huh?
if he can, figure out that toe issue, and that might just be something that he just gonna have to deal with for the rest of his career.
Yeah.
But when he on the field, he one of the top slot guys in the league.
Yeah. With him kind of being on like I guess a prove it deal as well. It'd be crazy if he just like stay healthy for the whole season and ball out, like kind of put the team in a position where like, dang, this dude could get hurt next year, but he really like earned some money. I guess at that point you'll kind of have to look at age and who else you could put in that position. But yeah, if it come down to it, I can't see nobody really beating him. But I think the point that I was getting ready to make was the reason that made me even get on Maddox was we was talking about Nicobi Dean being a backup. Somebody was saying that if Maddox doesn't win the slot job, we should let him go. And that's why I even got on Maddox, because what I was getting ready to say was, if he don't win the slot job, why not just keep him on the team in case the guy in front of him, if we only gonna sign him 1 year anyway,
Right.
and we didn't give him a bunch of money, you got to remember he's not on that contract that he was on. We cut him and brought him back, so we didn't really give him that much money when we brought him back. Why not? I don't care, because I think a lot of people thoughts are like he can go start somewhere else, or he's a starter, not a backup, or maybe a lot of times people just got this weird thing where they're like, if somebody's not starting, they dang near want to cut them, like they don't think about depth. But my whole thing is, if he don't win the starting job, or if they don't want him to start, why not just keep a veteran guy who knows the team and the system as a backup in case the guy in front of him goes down? Because what's gonna happen is that the slot, whoever's in the slot, goes down. And now we scrambling to fill that position when we could just have Madison literally walk on the field in the middle of a game and we wouldn't miss a beat.
Nope.
So I'm huge on I'm also huge on like depth, man. Have you a solid depth piece. It don't have to be somebody who's necessarily a starter, but somebody who's really good. You don't just cut guys just because they didn't win the starting position.
Right.
And because a lot of people just want like, I don't know, just average like mediocre guys as backups. You gotta think these guys could be playing like one wrong move, and these guys on the field.
It ain't even got to be on no injury type stuff. It could be the starter need a blow. The offense could just be the other offense could just be going. And you need 2 plays off, and you put somebody who suck in there and then he score right on that next
Yeah,
play.
they
Then what?
right.
Now you
But you
hollering,
know
oh, we need So depth is
yeah,
huge. Not even from just a injury standpoint, but just the general game flow. And from what we are hearing from Vic, he don't like to sub a whole lot of players, which means they're gonna be even more tired. So
yeah.
just
I'm
because you
interested to
starting, just
see.
because you're not starting, don't mean you're not gonna get no playing time.
I'm interested to see where the Eagles versus Vic compromise is. Like how much
Mm-hmm.
of this is gonna be like how he always runs his defense versus like our philosophy. Because
Right.
if you notice, even before Nick Sirianni got here, a lot of stuff that we do on defense, with regardless of the coordinator, is like we kind of always like subbing the line, like defensive line rotation. Like we've been doing that for a minute, even before Nick
A
got
long
here. So
time.
I'm wondering if like that's a compromise or we just gonna let Vic keep his guys on. Like I'm wondering like where that middle ground is gonna be. So that's gonna be interesting figuring out like seeing that dynamic. Whether we sub guys out a little bit more than if Vic sub guys out a little bit more than he normally does, or if guys stay on the field longer than we normally as the Eagles keep them on the field. So it's gonna be interesting. Um, we're talking about off season guys we acquired. What other moves we made? You want to talk about any pickups
I
player
mean,
wise
we
that you
we
feel
pretty
like
much
is worthy of?
we pretty much covered the big ones. I am a fan of the Kenny Pickett pickup just from the fact I don't like the fact that what we gave up for him, but I do understand like having somebody in house that's has some starting, another vet guy who has seen some meaningful snaps in the league to back up Hurts. Obviously, QB1 is QB1. So we're not worried
Mhm.
about him taking no spots. But, if something does happen where he go down for a play or two, it's good to know that we got somebody that I feel like can at least step in for the remainder of the game and finish the game out. Or, God forbid it's an injury where he gotta sit down for a game or two, somebody who can come in and give us some decent snaps.
Yeah, I agree. A lot of people were, for whatever reason, a lot of people was down on the whole Kenny Pickett thing. I don't have a problem with Kenny Pickett. I think we're talking about somebody we using as a backup
A
quarterback.
backup.
I don't know like what people expectations was of a backup quarterback. Um,
I think
I
everybody
even
wanted Fields, of course. That's
yeah,
probably what they was comparing the two.
a lot of people wanted Fields, and then you had the other people that was on the other side saying, "Hey, don't bring Fields in here because it's gonna be too much controversy." It's controversy with it. Don't matter who the backup
It don't.
quarterback is in Philly, they gonna always be calling for the backup. Like
Mm-hmm.
this is a thing before we even the whole Foles situation came about. It's always been a thing where like people was calling for the backup quarterback thing there. You just see it more now with social media.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I wanted Fields because I feel like if Hurts went down, same playing style, dang near the same person. He just a little bit more, I guess, athletic.
A little faster, maybe.
A little faster. But you basically looking at almost the same guy. Maybe not the
Mm-hmm.
same. They may not process the game the same way, but if you learning from the same coordinator and he's coaching you to read plays a certain way, I mean, it
The
is what it
offense
is.
would basically look the same
It basically, yep, and
theoretically.
yep. So, um, I'm not really gonna get into Fields, but I think Fields was just I think he was just in a bad situation.
He was.
A lot of people just think he trash. I don't think he trash.
Mm-mm.
I think sometimes you can get into you can go to the wrong team, man. You go to the wrong team and have the wrong
Mm-hmm.
coaches, and it can make you look like something that you ain't. Because I'm almost certain if Patrick Mahomes had got drafted to Chicago,
Nah, it wouldn't been the
we wouldn't
same.
be.
It
Yeah,
wouldn't
it
been the
wouldn't
same.
be. We wouldn't be talking about Patrick
But
Mahomes
not
like we
only
talk about.
that, if they would have gave Fields what they're giving Caleb,
I
it
agree.
would be different. So I
Yeah, that
mean, you
too.
got to give people,
They
you
didn't do
got to
nothing for the
give
man.
quarterbacks weapons. Like I don't know
Right.
where this
And
notion
a
come
and a
from.
line.
Yeah,
They never
yeah,
been. They
that
been
comes. But when I talk about weapons, that's what I'm talking about the whole
right.
thing,
Yeah.
because it's a narrative that goes around that the top guys can just make it happen with whatever, but that
Hmm.
more often than not, that's not the case. Like
Right.
when we go over history, the only people who have consistently been able to do it with less, more with less, is the greats like Brady or Mahomes. But even you see them struggle in season to make certain plays just because they
Hmm.
just don't have the guys around them. But
Right.
Fields, just like so many other people, um, we can say the same thing about Wentz. He never really, outside of the Super Bowl season, never really had anything to work with.
Weapons. Right.
So
Yeah.
you couple that with the fact that injuries may have played a part in his decline, but I think more so than the injuries was just the fact that he just didn't have the weapons around him, and even the offensive line wasn't great on the back end of Wentz's career. But that's for another episode. We can make a whole episode on
Right.
Wentz and what we thought about his career. But just to your point, yeah, Fields just didn't get a fair shot in Chicago. And I feel like the other thing is they were so scared to miss out on Mahomes again that they kind of, the writing was on the wall with Caleb.
Hmm. So we was talking about backup quarterback. So I was cool with the Kenny Pickett thing. I think Kenny Pickett, and I think he's from Pennsylvania or something, right? I don't
Hmm.
know. He played ball or something.
He
Yeah.
played for
So
Pitt. He played for
I think he
Pitt
was a
in
Philly
college.
fan, right? I think
He
he
might
grew up
be.
being a Philadelphia
He might have
fan.
been.
Yeah, I think if he his interview, I think he said something about being a Philadelphia fan. So I think it's gonna be a good fit. Hopefully, he don't get to see the field because that wouldn't mean good news.
Unless it's in a
That
blowout.
would have mean a blowout or something like that.
Hmm.
Now, like the Super Bowl run where we kept taking Hurts out early, which probably kind of hurt his MVP running a little bit.
Oh,
But
it did.
hey,
No, it did. It
um,
did hurt his MVP run.
yeah. So I was cool with the Kenny Pickett pickup. I don't have anything negative to say about Kenny Pickett. The only thing that was crazy was like when the whole, I guess um, his team or somebody on his team kind of like put something out there that he was doing better than Jalen Hurts in practice and all this stuff or whatever. And then, of course, Philly haters gonna pick that up and run with it or whatever. But that's no big news. We know this man is not gonna start in Philly, and we know
Yeah.
he not winning no starting role over Jalen Hurts. But anyway, I can't think of anything else. I mean, of course, we did pick up other players and stuff like that, but going to this, we're going into the draft a little bit. Um, Hold on, I know we can cut some of this out. You wanna do another episode on the draft because we been talking about this. I didn't know we was gonna talk about the off season this long. We probably could just
Yeah, we
throw a
did a
whole
lot.
draft episode in there.
Yeah, we could do
We
a
probably
cut
just break it.
cut this one and then come back with the next episode.
And then the fourth episode can be the NFC, and then we can do that. Yeah, that'd be cool because then I could do write down some off season moves or something like that that the other teams made. So the third episode can be the draft.
All
How long we
right,
been going?
hour and 12. Man, it probably end
Okay,
up
yeah,
being it's probably gonna end up being like an hour because I always start earlier than we actually start.
right.
So it's about 10 minutes of
And
fluff plus whatever else we gonna end up cutting.
yeah, yeah. So that'd be cool. So how we about to end then?
So shoot, we covered some good stuff in this episode. Just not bad for episode 2. We definitely got the episode 1 vibes out the way. For one, camera didn't die. Um, little rookie stuff that we kind of rushed putting episode 1 together, but episode 2 is smooth. And what they got to look forward to in episode 3.
Yeah, episode 3, man. We're gonna touch on the draft, man. We was gonna touch on it on this episode, but we already about an hour in, man. So we're gonna give y'all a little breather, in between that. We're gonna we won't have y'all watching a 2-hour episode, but unless we like live or something like that. But
Yeah.
we're gonna episode 3 we'll probably touch on the draft, how we felt about the draft, the players that we picked up in the draft, how we felt going into the draft, who we wanted to draft. And that's what you can expect from episode 3, man. Like we said, man, you coming over here to this channel, man. First off, this episode 2, man. You probably over time you'll see stuff probably change up a bit here and there as we get into our flow. But for the most part, man, we on here talking birds, man. We're gonna be
Mm-hmm.
all over the place. Talking about this season, last season, 5 seasons ago, man. Y'all know how if you a football fan, you a Eagles fan, you know once you get to talking about something, that's gonna take you somewhere else, man.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what you gonna expect over here, man. But we also can't wait to get into the season. Now you'll probably get shorter episodes during the actual season because we'll be talking about what's going on at that time. But right now we just kind of it's the off season. We in that little bit of time between camp starting and the draft and stuff being over with. So that's where we at right now.
Yes, sir. So this been another dope episode of the Down South Philly show. Stay tuned next time.
Hey, let me say this real quick. Follow us on social media, man.
Yeah,
If you made it
we
to the
just got
end,
everything up.
we might not. I don't know what we got on there yet, or by the time you see what we'll have on there. But you can follow us on social media account, Twitter, X, whatever you call it, Instagram, TikTok, Down South Philly.
All
YouTube
one
is
word.
where you at right now. But if you're looking at this clip, I don't know where you might be looking at this clip on, but if you ain't following the YouTube channel, Down South Philly Show. We out.